Hello and welcome to another episode of Hey, What's That Fat Guy Cooking? Today we're cooking tortillas. Yeah, I said it. Flour tortillas. So the first thing we're going to need is 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of sea salt. I think if you use regular salt, it's like 1 teaspoon, but I'm doing 2. I did 1 teaspoon of this, and it didn't come out that good before, so 2 teaspoons of sea salt. Half a cup of lard. You can use shortening like Crisco or something like that, but this is manteca, so that's what I use. And about a cup of water. So that's the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need something to, when you put the dry ingredients together, you want to whisk it up with your fingers or something, but I use a whisk. That works pretty good. The thing that you'll want to roll them out with is a rolling pin. See, it's a little wet. I had to rinse it. But don't wash these with soap, whatever you do, because then your food will taste like soap. And the last thing, well, not the last thing, but you can flip the tortillas with your fingers, but you'll burn yourself. I use a spatula because you flip them and it's easier to do. There's something over here. I'm gonna get it for you. See if I can. It's called a placa. It's like a cast iron griddle. Mine's all beat up and everything, so you get one of those. Ow! And that's what you make your tortillas on. And last but not least, if you can, one of these things. It's to store the tortillas once you're done. You put them in here, and it gives you an idea of what size you want to make them to. These are, I don't know, like 14-inch or something, or 10-inch. But if you don't have one of those, what you could do is put them in a bowl. And if you have paper towels or a dish towel, white dish towel, or just a clean dish towel, you put them on top of the dish towel and you fold it over, and it keeps them nice and warm. Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So now I'm gonna show you how to prepare these. So when you add the ingredients, you put them in a big bowl like this one. Make sure if you have the bowl in the sink, don't turn the water on to get like water that you need, because sometimes it'll fall in here and it causes little clumps. That's a mistake. Normally people won't show you their mistakes, but hey, that's all I do. So you put the 3.5 cups of flour in the bowl. Like that's what I have, is 3.5 cups. I started to put it in there, and anyway, and you kind of you don't have to mix it, but I do because I got it all messed up. So you put your flour in, your salt, and your baking soda, or baking powder I should say, and you just mix it. Mix your dry ingredients, right? Mix it until it's nice and, what do they call this, sifted or something. Anyway, so you gotta make a mess. At least I do. My mom used to say, a good cook makes a mess. And I know there are cooks out there who are pros. They're like, not really. Hey, you know what? My mom used to say it, so if you want to argue with me, come on, man, I'll argue with you. I think it was just a way to explain that she was messy. So anyway, you mix it really well, and you just keep mixing, stirring. Once you got it mixed pretty good, I kind of give it a turn with my fingers and make sure that everything's kind of mixed in really good. Then you put, not the water, but the lard. You put the lard in, and you start to squeeze it. You just start to mix it. So it'll break up into like little tiny pieces, and it'll look like it did a little while ago where that bit of water was at. It's like a little clumpy. You want that. It's kind of like, I don't know, I think they refer to it as like a cornmeal look or something, but you just keep doing that, so you're kind of getting the lard. If you have the lard out and it gets a little warm and melty, it's easier, I should say soft, not melty, but it's easier to do this with. So you just basically, you're working with the material. So you just keep mixing it until you get that all the lard is kind of broken up into the mixture. And tortillas are delicious. I love them. We used to eat these. My mom would make them. We would, when I was a kid, we she'd put butter on them, and we would just eat the tortilla by itself. It's a really good little meal. And when we were really young, the neighbor lady, Tia Eloisa, she used to make them in her backyard, and they were huge. So what we do is we cut eye holes out of them and put them over our heads and run around like Batman. Yeah, I know. Tortilla as a mask. Hey, you know what? Whatever it takes. It was fun and food at the same time. So basically, that's what you do, and then you add a little bit of water. It takes about a cup of water. So sometimes it's a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on how much flour you have in there. Like I wasted a little bit of it, so it might be just a little bit less than a cup of water. But it's always about a cup of water for this many, for this much. So you just kind of mix it and you start turning it around. When you got a solid ball of masa, it'll start to clean the sides, and that's when you know it's pretty much done. So you just keep putting your water in it until you get. Well, actually, I'm just going to put it all in there. I don't like to do this because it gets really sticky and your fingers get full of the masa a lot more than normal. Like, see that? But it works. I mean, you just have to keep working with it. And anyway, you just kind of spin it and squeeze it and keep doing this number. And a lot of flour, so this is the last batch. If I put too much water, I'm screwed. And this video will be aired later when I get flour. So it actually was just perfect. See, it's starting to do what I said. And if you look in there, I don't know if you can see in there yet. Let's see. It starts to all come together. It's like the Borg. The Borg of tortillas. Assimilate all the sides, all the stuff that's in here. Borg tortillas. Look at the Borg. Make tortillas as a collective. Anyway, so you just keep doing this. And then once you're done, well, you can tell because, like I said, everything's clean in there. It pulls everything up. I guess if you're making biscuits or something, if you know how to do that, you pretty much know what I'm talking about. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to knead this for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to make a log out of it and then cut it so that we have about, I think it's, let's see. Well, it depends on the size of the tortilla. You know, the balls are usually about this size right here, and it makes a pretty good sized tortilla, but I'm going to make them a little smaller, so we'll find out how many it'll make. And, you know, it all depends on what you want to do. So, I will be back. So, just keep kneading, you know, for, like I said, about 5 minutes. And once you do that, you should be okay to do the rest of it. And then you got to let these things sit for about 15 minutes covered, and then you can start to roll them out and make it. Okay, once you knead the dough and you do all that, you cut them, you know, just cut them into some small pieces about this size, so it's like a large gumball or something. I don't know how to describe this. It's this big. It's like a couple of tablespoons or something. Anyway, I probably should have a better explanation, but you know what? You make them as big as you want them. What you got to do is you want to roll them and then make them into this weird flying saucer or frisbee shape. I'll show you how to do that. First, you have to get some lard. I know it's the worst part of this whole thing. Just get enough to coat the palms of your hands, and you kind of do this number, and you get the ball, and you just start to roll it, and it'll come out really cool, kind of like you're playing with Play-Doh or something. And there it is. It's like a little ball. And then what you do is you get your fingers on both sides and you kind of just start turning it and sticking your fingers underneath it. So you're having it kind of turn itself inside out. And it'll be round, and underneath it'll have this kind of like a mushroom, like that, yeah, mushroom top shape. Anyway, and you put those in your bowl that you actually mixed it in. Cover it, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then you go ahead and start rolling them out. And that's the next step. So I'll see you guys in a minute.